You're traveling through the Underdark. Maybe you've been tasked with clearing out a mineshaft of creatures. Or maybe you're chasing down a group of Duergar that have stolen something from the town on the surface and you're tasked with getting it back. On your travels, you enter a grand cavern with what looks like an endless ceiling. Jagged rocks coat the walls and floors with stalagmites and stalactites filling the cavern. While walking through, you notice mounds of dirt scattered throughout the rocky floor. The next thing you know, the ground begins to rumble and shake. You see the dirt mounds begin to crumble and cave into what looks like tunnels that have been burrowed through the earth. Next you hear an almighty crash and see dirt and stone thrown throughout the cavern. And emerging you see a naturally plate armored creature with a smooth head that comes to a beak-like point where the mouth would be. Another one bursts out of the ground behind you, flanking you with the other. They let out a mighty roar and charge straight towards you. Today we are talking about the large monstrosity with the nickname of LandShark. Yes, we are covering the Bulette. Hello and welcome to Dungeon Deep Dive, where we talk about all things D&D, from monsters and their lore to news updates and tips and advice for anyone interested in Dungeons and Dragons and want to give it a try. Today we are talking about the Bulette, a burrowing armored monstrosity that dominates the Underdark with its sheer size and power. The Bulette made its first appearance way back in the very first 1975 Dragon Magazine #1. It says, thought to be extinct until just recently, this horrifying apparition was crossbred from armadillo and snapping turtle stock. It has the vicious disposition of the turtle with the speed and digging ability of the armadillo. They can dwarf a Pertron horse, being from 9 to 11 feet tall. They are very stupid, but that makes them all the more dangerous. With it being a 9 foot tall and a 12 foot long behemoth of muscle and power, its body is covered with thick layers of plates, giving it multiple layers of protection from outside forces. It says the head is similar to that of a shark, but me personally, I don't really see that. That comes to a sharp point like a beak at the end. The width of the mouth spans the width of the head and is powerful enough to shatter bone to dust. They have small stumpy legs with 4 razor sharp claws at the end of them. Their legs may be small, but they do some serious damage. Unlike in later editions where they are mentioned as burrowing creatures, in the first appearance, nothing is said about the burrowing, and says they have a hunger for mainly horses and mount flesh, second to that, the meat of halfling. With Bulettes being not the most intelligent of creatures, their main goal in life is just to feed and hunt for food. It states that if needed, they will dig hobbits or halflings right out of their burrows to get to them if some are close by. They dislike the taste of dwarves, so tend to keep away from hunting them if need be, and dislike the taste of elves even more. While they do have perfect dark vision due to living in the Underdark, that is not their only way of seeing. They can also find their prey by the vibrations in the ground from their movements. They will burrow through the ground following the vibrations and emerge out of the ground to attack their newly chosen prey. They are primarily carnivorous creatures, and if a bullet catches its prey, because they don't have any teeth in their mouth, they will swallow the prey whole and are able to digest everything that they were carrying, including any clothes or metal they were carrying. In the Advanced D&D Monster Manual, it says that bullets are supposedly the results of a mad wizard combining the essence of an armadillo and snapping tails, and the ichor of demons from the abyss. Bulettes primarily are solitary creatures and only share a territory with its then mated partner. Now when it comes to the male mating rituals, they can be a little complicated. No other creatures like to share the territory with a bulette purely for the fear of being eaten. So if you enter an area and there is nothing living around there, be wary that a bulette may be close by. The mating ritual tends to involve corpses of deer or boars, and it then places them into a wide circle. Then a small pit is then dug into the center of the circle, and all the bones of the animals are lined into the pit. Then over the course of a week or so, they will grind the bones in the pit down to a fine powder, where he will then dig under the pit and wait there for a female to arrive. As you can tell, they put a lot of work into this. When a female eventually arrives, attracted by the odors the male leaves, they will do the deed, and then it only takes the female a day to around a day and a half to lay at least a dozen eggs. They don't mess around. The eggs are covered with spines, so I feel sorry for the females that have to lay them. And then after a day or two, all the eggs hatch straight away. This is where the birthing process takes a turn for the worst. Once the babies are hatched, they will then immediately attack the mother in an attempt to kill her. She will fight back, and although she will kill a good few of her young, 9 out of 10 times she will succumb to the newborns, and the survivors will then eat the mother and any children that were killed. That's kind of messed up. Through the many years of D&D, there have been many variants of Bulette that have made their way onto paper and into people's campaigns. In 2nd edition, there is a variant of the Bulette called the Golbrawn. These guys are a more intelligent subrace of the standard Bulette we know of today. It says that they are very good at camouflage and tend to hunt in packs, not like the standard Bulette. They also know when a fight is going to be a little too tough for them and will take the fight only if they feel like they have the advantage. Similar to how Displacer beasts hunt for food, they will lay around for their prey and wait to strike, and will always go for the spellcaster of the group first before attacking the more stronger party members. With the Golbrawn being slightly more intelligent than the average Bulette, they have developed their own form of language. To the untrained ear, it would simply sound like the distant rumbling of rocks. The Golbrawn lay eggs similar to their Bulette relatives, but unlike the mother fighting to the death with their children at the moment of life, they instead watch over and protect their young until they are able to fend for themselves. There are many other variants of Bulettes through countless editions and books as the years have gone by. From the standard Bulette to the dire Bulette, which are slightly larger and more stronger than the standard variant. There's the Golbrawn, which we just spoke about earlier in the video, which is smaller but slightly more intelligent than your run-of-the-mill Bulette. Now that we've gone through the details of the Bulette, let's go over some abilities that they have that you could encounter if you ever fight a Bulette. Starting with the standard 5e Bulette, they have an AC of 17 with natural armor and have 94 hit points and a challenge rating of 3. They have dark vision of 60 feet and tremor sense of 60 feet. So don't think that if you don't see the Bulette you're safe, because you're probably not. They probably still know where you are. They have an ability called Standing Leap where the Bulette can long jump up to 30 feet and its high jump is upgraded to 50 feet. With or without a running start. Combine this with its deadly leap attack, where if the Bulette jumps at least 15 feet as part of its movement, it can then use this action to land on its feet in the space that contains one or more creature. Each of those creatures must succeed on a DC 16 strength or dex save, their choice, or be knocked prone and take 3d6 plus 4 bludgeoning plus 3d6 slashing damage, and on a success the creature only takes half the damage. It also isn't knocked prone but is pushed 5 feet out of the Bulette's space into an unoccupied space of the creature's choice. They also gain a bite attack that has a +7 to hit and a 5-foot reach and deals a massive 4d12 plus 4 piercing damage. This attack can be a lot more deadly if they attack a target that is knocked prone from their deadly leap ability. I found a few homebrew Bulettes made by Reddit user herpderp1909, and I'll leave a link to the Reddit post down below because these variants are very interesting. We'll start with the dire Bulette. It has an AC of 19 and 250 hit points, and they have the same sense as the standard Bulette of dark vision and tremor sense of 60 feet. They still have the standing leap ability where the dire Bulette can long jump up to 50 feet and high jump up to 25 feet. For the deadly leap, each creature the Bulette chooses to land on must make a DC 18 strength or dex save or be knocked prone and take 4d6 plus 6 slashing damage and 4d6 plus 6 bludgeoning damage. The bite has a +10 to hit and a reach of 5 feet and deals 6d12 plus 6 piercing damage. And if the target is a larger or small creature, it must succeed on a DC 18 dex save or be swallowed. The swallowed creature is blinded and restrained, and it has a total cover against attacks and other effects outside the Bulette, and it does take 66 acid damage at the start of each of the Bulette's turns. The Bulette needs to take 30 damage or more in a single turn from the creature inside it. Then the Bulette must succeed on a DC 16 con save at the end of its turn to regurgitate all swallowed creatures. If this happens, they all fall prone in the space within 10 feet of the Bulette. And if the Bulette dies, a swallowed creature is no longer restrained, but it can escape from the corpse by using 20 feet of movement to exit prone. The Bulette's capable of holding 1 large creature, or 4 medium creatures, or 8 small creatures, or 16 tiny creatures at one time in its stomach. Moving on to another variant called the Bog Bulette. It has an AC of 16 and 105 hit points and gains a swim speed of 40 feet, and they become immune to poison damage and the poison condition. This variant has a couple more toys at its disposal, starting with the false appearance ability, where while the Bulette remains motionless, indistinguishable from a mound of dirt or vines. They also have a stench ability where any creature other than a Bulette that starts its turn within 5 feet of it must succeed on a DC 16 con save or be poisoned until the start of the creature's next turn. They've given it a blood frenzy ability that gives the bullet advantage on melee attack rolls against any creature that doesn't have all its hit points. So with that, I feel like later on in the fight, the bullet is just going to get more and more deadly. So kill it quick. Its bite attack has a +7 to hit with a reach of 5 feet and deals 2d12 plus 4 piercing damage and 2d10 poison damage. For its deadly leap action, anyone affected must make a DC 16 strength or dex save or be knocked prone and take 2d6 plus 4 bludgeoning damage and 2d6 plus 4 slashing damage. And on top of that, they also take 2d10 poison damage. And the final variant we're going to go over is the Lava Bulette. Similar to the one seen in campaign 1 or Critical Role actually. He has an AC of 22 but 17 when they go in a rage and have 150 hit points. It gains resistance to bludgeoning, piercing and slashing damage and an immunity to fire damage. It has a rage ability where when the bullet drops half of its maximum hit points, it enters into a rage. The bullet's shell melts, decreasing its AC and making it lose its damage resistance, as well as increasing its speed and jump distance. And it also deals an additional 2d10 fire damage and gains an additional action which it can use to attack, dash or disengage. Its standing leap gives it a long jump of 30 feet and a high jump of 15 feet, but this increases to a long jump of 50 and a high jump of 25 when it's in a rage. The Lava Bulette has Flame Touch, where whenever a creature touches the bullet or hits it with a melee attack, they automatically take 2d10 fire damage. For its bite attack, it has a +11 to hit and a reach of 5 feet and deals 4d12 plus 6 piercing and 2d10 fire damage. The Deadly Leap action needs the target to succeed on a DC 19 strength or dex save, or be knocked prone and take 3d6 plus 6 bludgeoning and 3d6 plus 6 slashing damage. When the bullet does go into a rage, its attacks work a little differently. The rage bite attack has a +11 to hit and a 5-foot reach and deals 4d12 plus 6 piercing and does an additional 4d10 fire damage instead of 2d10. The Deadly Leap action has all the same functions as before the bullet went into a rage, but deals an additional 2d10 fire damage on top of it. Bullets are super fun creatures to throw in your game to turn the tide or maybe will down your players on their way to finish their quest. You can have the party encounter bullets in a small confined tunnel where there's no room to maneuver, forcing your players to adapt to the environment. Or maybe the party is unlucky enough to stumble across a nest of a lava bullet and find and take an egg from the nest without realizing what they have with them, giving you a hook for the party to encounter an enraged lava bullet once in its baby bag. But that is all I'm going to have for you guys today on the bullet. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video and this was helpful. And if there's anything that I've missed, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. What monster would you like me to cover next in the videos? Let me know in the comments and I'll add your comment at the end of the next video. You can find links to all my socials down below to keep up to date. Thank you all for watching and I'll see you all in the next video.